you've seen Beatles Anthology, you're probably familiar with the George Harrison quote where he's talking about the Beatles chemistry. And he says that when you get those four certain personalities together, you create fire, you create dynamite. And they all say something just like that. They all say that it took the four of them. It took John, Paul, George, and Ringo to create the Beatles, to create the Beatles magic, and it wouldn't have happened with anybody else. So it really is something rare. It really is something special. And that's probably why we're always wanting more. We want more outtakes. We want more studio chatter. Maybe we can get a little bit closer to that magic. Maybe we can get a little bit closer to that fire. And we did get a little bit more with the new anthology. Plus, we got a little bit more behind the scene footage of Paul, George, and Ringo working on Real Love, Free as a Bird, and Now and Then. Yeah, we had a lot of it, but now we have a little bit more, and I'll take anything. And in that behind the scene footage, we have that great Ringo quote where he's listening to the playback and he says, "Oh my gosh, it sounds just like the Beatles." You know, they hadn't been Beatles in like 20 or 25 years. They'd been Paul, George, and Ringo. And now here they are in the studio. They're working like the Beatles again. John is there, you know, in the headphones. And there's the three of them in the same room, working together, rehearsing, recording. And they're creating that magic that even they are surprised by. And we got a little bit more of that today with that new Beatles video, Free as a Bird, A Song Reborn. A lot more behind the scene footage of Paul, George, and Ringo working on Free as a Bird. That is one special video. It really is. And before I go any further, all I got to say is George Harrison and Fuzzy Boots. There's this fantastic Paul McCartney quote when he's talking about, you know, them getting together, working on these songs. And he says that it really feels comfortable getting together with them, with these colleagues that he's familiar with, and they know they're all on the same page. He knows that they all want the same thing. They all want to make something happen that everybody says couldn't happen. And for me, that's the Beatles' essence in a nutshell. You have these four guys always pushing the envelope. These Scousers, okay, and I hope I'm saying that right. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. But these guys from Liverpool saying, we want to do things our way. We want to change everything. And they do just that. That's the Beatles' magic right there, making the impossible possible, making something happen that everybody said couldn't happen, wanting to go this way when everybody says go that way. I love that stuff. And that's what I think the magic is. Now, I know that Paul McCartney didn't mean that. He was talking about, making Free as a Bird. That's what he was talking about, making that happen. But, who knows what's going to happen next? Because as long as there's Beatles, there's probably going to be Beatles magic. And we did just get that new George Harrison claymation video that is just a very special piece of enchantment. So
just a very good, warm feeling of being with colleagues who were good, who were out like you were to make something special, to make something happen that they said couldn't happen. Just that effort and just that enjoyment of doing that is really what it comes down to. Sort of all it's about.
And I'm going to take all of that as a sign of more good Beatles stuff to come. Take care, you all.
Beatles is Beatles, Beatle. In the end, it's like, oh, sod off with the Beatles,